In the Red Hand House. I don't know which of us was the one who suggested it, and now it seems like a waste of time to even think about it, but anyway, we decided to go exploring the abandoned house on our day off, me and my bad friend Kazuki. The abandoned house on the outskirts of town was a place where people who are not very talkative say that there was once a family suicide, a robbery and murder, or just a nighttime escape, but nobody actually knows about it. Well, I guess all abandoned houses are similar. The house was called Red Hand House by most people in my hometown. The origin of the name is that there is a room with many red handprints on the second floor of the house. It is said that a woman's spirit appears in that room, or that you are cursed if you enter the room, but these are also rumors of unknown origin, and no one around me actually saw the room with the red handprints. We both have not a millimeter of psychic sensitivity, but maybe we could finally see a ghost there. With a light-hearted teenage spirit, Kazuki and I, with a little too much free time and curiosity on our hands, went to the abandoned house to seek stimulation in our monotonous lives. Little did we know that we would end up paying an overpriced study fee that day for going to a haunted place. The red-handled house, which stood alone on the edge of the mountain as if buried in the trees, was a Western-style two-story building that radiated such a strange atmosphere that we could easily recognize it even from a distance. The first thing that greeted us was the dilapidated front yard with weeds growing as fast as they could. The site was smaller than we had imagined, and although there was a rope indicating that it was off-limits, it was of little use. The grass to the entrance had become a path, as if there had been some other people who came to explore the house. The exterior walls, which were probably originally pure white, have been exposed to the elements for many years with no caretaker, and are now dirty, blackened, and cracked. Most of the glass in the windows is broken. We finally went inside and began our search on the first floor with a flashlight in hand. Miscellaneous trash covering the floor, moldy sofas, holy walls, spray-painted graffiti. It is a scene of an ordinary abandoned house that can be found anywhere in Japan, but the furniture and knickknacks that remind us of the life of the residents back then are quite quaint. For some reason, there was a mannequin abandoned in the bathroom, which scared me. After looking around the first floor for about 30 minutes, we went up to the second floor. There are 2 rooms on the second floor, and I first took a peek at the room in the front, which was empty and deserted. I peeked into the front room first, but it was empty and deserted. If the rumors were true, there should be a red handprint in the back room. With trepidation, I decided to open the door. Whoa! We both let out an unintentional gasp. The room was covered with a great number of red handprints, not only on the walls but also on the floor. To be honest, I had assumed that the rumors were false, or that there were at most a few handprints in the corners of the walls, but this was a surprise to me. I was surprised to see them. The atmosphere here was clearly different from the rest of the place. The temperature was almost sweaty, but as soon as we entered the room, it felt as if the temperature had dropped to below freezing, and we felt a chill, which made us regret our decision to visit with just the 2 of us. The only furniture in the room was a dilapidated bed with springs sticking out and a collapsed side table. What in the world happened in the past to turn this house into an abandoned house? I can't help but imagine. Overwhelmed by the horror of the house, I started to take pictures of the rooms, hoping to show them to the other people and make a story out of it. As I was taking a few pictures, I noticed that Kazuki had taken up a position in the center of the room and was staring at the handprints on the floor and walls with a difficult expression on his face. "What's the matter? What are you doing?" "No, you don't notice anything when you look at this bill, do you?" I looked at the handprints for a while but could not notice anything. Then Kazuki put his left hand on one of the handprints on the wall. He said, "You know what? All the handprints here are only on my left hand." So I looked around the room again, and sure enough, all the handprints seemed to be on the left-hand side only, even though there were so many. "Oh, really? Wow, how did you notice that? Right? It is strange. It looks like there should be at least one right hand. I know. I wonder why. Her right arm was severed. A muffled female voice came from somewhere in the room. Immediately after, there was a rattling noise from the closet in the back of the room. We ran out of the room shouting. Just before we left the room, I turned my head for a moment and saw something reddish, human-shaped, and unidentifiable crawling slowly out of the closet. We both ran down the stairs, out the front door, straddled our bicycles, and kept running. We had no idea that something so bizarre could happen, and all we could think about was getting away from the house. On the way to the house, we split off in two different directions, each heading in the direction of the other's home. We ran through the matten-tinted twilight, and I found myself in front of my house, sweaty and out of breath. It was the only time of the day that no one in the family had returned home yet. I went home, sat alone in the living room, drank a cup of cold barley tea, took a breather, and calmed down a little. I couldn't leave those behind. I tried to erase the image in a hurry, but erasure failed. Please try again. And for some reason I couldn't delete the image. I couldn't figure out the cause, and no matter how many times I tried again, the same thing happened, and a chill ran down my spine. At that time, I felt a cold shiver down my spine. I heard footsteps coming from the hallway. I thought, did someone come home? I thought, but quickly dismissed the thought. There was no way that someone could be walking in such a strange way. The footsteps were erratic and disorganized, as if the person was inebriated, but they were slowly and surely approaching the living room. My blood runs cold and my heart beats fast. I regret violently that I took the picture, but it is too late. I freeze for breath, my whole body frozen, unable to take my eyes off the door leading to the hallway. Finally, the footsteps come to the living room door, but, as I thought, they pass right through and disappear into the back. Just after I relaxed a little, I heard a voice saying,
"It's over."
Suddenly, the woman's voice whispered in my ear, and I lost consciousness. When I woke up in the pitch-dark living room, it was past 1900 hours. I received a line from my mother telling me that she would be late and that I should eat the leftovers from yesterday's dinner. I turned on the light and checked my surroundings with trepidation, but found nothing out of the ordinary. Did that woman show up at Kazuki's place too? I decided to contact her. I was worried about his safety, and more than anything, I was worried about being alone and wanted to hear someone's voice. However, there was no answer at all. I was about to give up when the call finally went through to voicemail. "Kazuki, it's me." "Hey, it's me, are you okay?" "Ah." He answered in a very weak and listless voice. It sounds like a mere sigh. "I'm not sure why I'm the only one." "Why am I the only one?" "What?" "Hey, where are you? I can't wait to get home." He mumbled something unconnected without answering the question, and the call was disconnected. I tried again, but this time the call was disconnected. Sensing a sense of disquiet, I called Kazuki's home just to be sure, and as I had feared, his mother answered the phone and said, "He hasn't come home yet, and we're worried." Sweat trickled down my neck. It was obviously unusual. Something bad is happening to him right now. When I was convinced of this, the scene at the Red Hand house suddenly came back to my mind. In that room, he had superimposed his hand on the handprint on the wall. I am sure that it was a forbidden thing to do. That's why he went crazy and disappeared. Is it too late? Please, please be safe. I wished so earnestly that I could go back to the House of the Red Hand, but I was in a time-sensitive situation. There was a good chance that he was being held captive in that abandoned house. Of course, it would be wise to go there with more than one person after telling the police about the situation. I had to bring him back, even if it meant tying him up in a knot. First, I hurried down the hallway to my room to get the things I needed, opened the door, and flipped on the light switch in my room. Kazuki, hanging by his neck from an electrical cord, was dangling in front of me. It seemed that time had already passed, with feces and urine dripping down his feet and red handprints all over his body. My brain was refusing to recognize reality, but that was short-lived, and understanding was slowly catching up with me without denial. I was thinking, that strange footstep sound, was that you? Come to think of it, I didn't lock the front door. What's that? The actual I'll be able to get a hold of you is a very good way to get a good idea of what you're looking for. If only I had known at that moment that it was Kazuki, at least I might have been able to save his life. Perhaps I was being tested. Could I be brave enough to check the hallway? I heard a woman's hearty, joyful laugh. This is the end of this story. Thank you for listening to the end.